Well, Radio London, I set Radio London up, and it was set up with a sort of a different philosophy. When Caroline and Atlanta were set up, they were set up by people who felt that it was wrong that the BBC had a monopoly as far as music is concerned. And they were in the music business, and they were wanting an opportunity to expose records, to have a radio station that would play their records. This is not the way to set up a radio station. The only big difference was that we set up Big L in order to attract audiences as a commercial enterprise. We were not interested in plugging records. We were interested in building a large audience for our station and in selling advertising, of course, as a commercial project. Well, we were attracting about £1 million a year. Of course, it's hard with money to make comparisons because that's 10 years ago and our rate of inflation is so high. I suspect that's equal to £2.5 million a year now. It was profitable. It was broadcasting for nearly 3 years, and it closed down the day the legislation made it illegal because, as you know, it wasn't illegal during that time. It paid for itself in the first 10 months, and after that we never looked back. We had a Labour government at the time. The legislation went through, and the Conservative government said that they were entirely satisfied that the pirates, during that past 3 years, had established that there was a market for commercial radio in this country, a market in the sense of advertising support, and also that there was a market in the sense that there was an enormous audience, in other words, a listening audience for it. And they felt, the Conservative Party, which was opposition at the time, that we had completely proven that there should be an independent radio service in this country, a commercial one, just as there is television. And so they stated quite clearly then that it was their intention, when they next got into power, that they would introduce commercial radio, and they did.
On 261 and Stereo 97, this is Piccadilly Radio.
261 Piccadilly, Stereo 97.
Roger Day.
Well, I started before that on Radio England, which became Radio Dolphin, which was, of course, a Dutch-speaking radio station. That was American-backed. But then I did go to Radio Caroline, which, as far as I was concerned, was the best station I ever worked for. Great atmosphere, and had some happy times there. I started about 3 months before the Marine Offences Bill became law in Britain, and stayed right until the end.
In that time, you were the most popular disc jockey, and you went off the air for 3 years, and you still remained so popular. How did you do that?
Probably my mother writing so many letters. But no, Johnny Walker, of course, was also as popular. We've just shared popularity. But I don't know. I think people associated me with being the leader of the offshore radio brigade and a bit of a rebel. And I suppose they could identify with me. And so that's probably why my popularity lasted.